Hello, hello. It is a Tuesday evening. Welcome to a little live lettering session with me. It's June 10th. It is hot. It is really hot. I know I'm probably just stating the obvious, but it's like 95 degrees, and I think the room I'm sitting in is not a whole lot cooler than that. So I've got my little fan here, and hopefully it's not too loud for you. If I pulled out the big box fan, it would be way too loud. So I may have to move downstairs to my studio slash stock room for the rest of the summer in this sauna. So anyway, as you are hopping on, say hello. If you're on the replay crew, you can say hello too. Before we get started tonight, I want to tell you about the new summer workshop that's coming up. It's going to be at the end of the month. Hey, Roxy, good to see you tonight. The summer workshop is going to be June 25th and 26th. That's a Wednesday and Thursday night. And we are doing this project. It is one of the templates from the Scripted Faith Collective. It says, "Be still and know I am God," which is Psalm 46:10. And I'm going to take you step by step. You're going to grab your supplies, or you can get a supply kit from me, whichever one you choose. I give you a list, and you can go out and grab all those things, or if you'd rather just get it sent to you and be done with it, then I'm happy to send you a supply kit. So you need to register, and I'm going to put the link here in the comments, and then I'll pin the comment up to the top so that it's easy to find. So let me do that really fast. But the reason why you have to register, it is a free workshop, but you need to register so that you can get your supply list, and also you'll get the email, you'll get the link emailed to you. So it's going to be a private link, so you will get that early on in the day, so you'll know where to go. So that is really the reason for registering. And okay, let's see here, make sure my thing is good. Hey, Glenda, good to see you. Okay, let's see. How do we pin a comment? There we go. All right, so that's the workshop that's coming up. It's about 2 weeks away, I think now. 2 weeks from tomorrow, maybe. So you'll want to get in on that, because it will be a fun time. We will have a good time. We're going to go step by step, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a super simple, easy way. So, all right, there's that. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm excited about this project that we're doing. I teased it a little bit earlier on the socials. We are going to do the Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness template on a cute little wooden sign. So this is the sign, and you can see that it's about 2 inches thick, and it's going to sit real nicely on a table or a shelf. So I got it from Hobby Lobby in the wood section, and it was $7. Probably got a little discount on it, because you know how Hobby Lobby is. So anyway, and actually, if you took off the hanger there, then you might even be able to do 2 different things, like something on the front, something on the back, and make it like a little shadow box type thing. So we'll have to see what else we can come up with in the future. Hey, Joyce, it's good to see you. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump in. I will move my camera over there. What size is the board? Let's see. It is almost 8, 7.87, and then by 2 inches. So almost 8 inches by 8 inches by 2 inches. So it's a good little size. I think it will be really cute on the on the shelf somewhere in my kitchen or on a tiered tray. It might be a little bit too big for a tiered tray, actually, now that I think about it. But all right. So this is the template. Again, it's a template from the Scripted Faith Collective. I sized it down just a little bit, just a smidge. Instead of printing it at 100%, I printed it at 85% so that it would fit a little bit better on here. It fit at the normal size, but I felt like it was a little bit too tall and it was going to go off the edge. It was just right on the edge. So I wanted a little bit of a border around there. Hey, Darlene. Thanks for joining us tonight. So that's where we did. So 85% seemed to be a good size for that. And so then I've got this white graphite paper that I'm reusing from a past project. Did y'all see the reel that I posted earlier today of the door hanger, the red door hanger that says America the Beautiful? I was so proud of that sign. I thought, man, this is fun. You know, my friend Jennifer with Canvas Sign Designs, she's the door maker queen. And when I met her, I told her, I said, if I didn't already have my own creative business, I'm like your ideal person because I love everything you do. And I love to change up my decor every season and every month, or not every month, but every season. And I just love everything she does. So I got to say that I was probably inspired by her whenever I made that, but it was so fun. We used the glitter and anyway, it's hanging on my door right now. And I meant to grab it off and bring it up here and show it to you, but anyway, so that was fun. I see more of those in our future for sure. Anyway, let me know. Have you ever made a door hanger, anything like that? Is that your jam, or are you more like, no, I like to just keep it, keep a simple wreath or something all year long? So what is it that you like to do? Okay. Let's get going because we have a lot to do tonight. We have to paint this thing first. So I put some craft paper down on my table so that I wouldn't get any more paint on it. I already have some paint on it, but I knew that we were going to be a little bit messy tonight. And I have everything except my paper plate. Hold on. Let me just grab my paper plate real fast. Okay. So I have a bunch of colors. We're doing red, white, and blue, but we're going to do kind of a fun spin on the red, white, and blue. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to paint the side red. So I've got a Christmas red, which is very pretty. And then I have a apple red. So they're both really nice reds. I'm going to go with the Christmas red though. I think I used the apple red in the door hanger that reel that I showed y'all. This one actually, it's kind of muddy looking now that I see it on the plate. It's not quite as red as I thought. So we'll see if we need to, you know what? I think I'm going to mix in a little bit of this apple red. It looked like a really nice Christmassy red, but then whenever I got it on there, you probably can't see the difference, but apple red is much brighter, and then Christmas red is a little bit more muddy looking. It's got like a little bit of brown mixed in maybe. So we'll just mix those two colors together and start painting the sides. And I was hoping that we could do this nice and thick so we don't have to do more than one coat. We shall see, because you know how the wood oftentimes soaks up all the paint. Let's see if we can get away with it. So I said at the beginning, kind of probably before anybody jumped on, It feels like it's 100 degrees. My poor son is volunteering at VBS this week, and he's doing the recreation. And they gave them black shirts to wear. Black shirts to wear outside in the 95 plus degree heat. And he thinks it's cool. He likes the color black. He's like, it's fine. But that just sounds so miserable to me. And my daughter is a volunteer in the kindergarten group. And so she's inside most of the day with the girls and the boys and taking them to their little sessions and things. And I said to Pierce, I said, do you think that you might want to do that next year instead of recreation? This is his third summer doing recreation. And he said, no, I love it. I said, but it's hot. It's so hot. How are you not miserable? That to me sounds like a nightmare. Be miserable. And he said, well, Mom, I live in Florida. And I play baseball outside. So I guess I just got to be used to it. And I said, oh, okay. So next time you tell me you don't want to mow because it's too hot, I can just tell you live in Florida and you play baseball. So you're good. And he goes, don't use my words against me. So we were just kind of joking around a little bit, but my word, I don't know who picked black shirts for the rec guys, but I feel bad for them. But he's having a good time. And I'm up here on the third floor in this little spare room that we have. And I'm telling you, it like the attic surrounds this room. And so you know how an attic feels in the summer. So when I walked up here tonight, I had to grab a fan. I just grabbed my little desktop fan. I was like, I hope it's not too loud. But otherwise, I would be glistening quite a bit by the end of this live. It's like, blah. Being hot kind of puts me in a bad mood. It's like one of those things where I'm like, I would rather be cold than hot. But anyway, okay, so we've got our little base coat there. And it does look like I might need a second coat, but we shall see once it dries. So slide that over just a bit. Hey, Karen, you're at DFW. You're right there near all my family. Where are you headed? Because you're in the DFW area, right? So tell me where, if you're going on vacation or going to see family. Roxy, I'm glad that you cannot hear the fan. Thank you for telling me that. So I've got my red. I'm going to add a little bit more there. And so now I'm just going to start adding a bunch of colors to the top. We're going to do a real pretty hodgepodge red, white, and blue. I don't know why I put that red there. I guess because I want the colors to be a little bit more separate this time. I'm not going to mix them. And then I've got this winter blue. I'll be honest with you. I found a box of acrylic paints that have been in the attic since we moved. And I just scavenged through it looking for blues. So I thought, well, some of these might be all dried up. We will see what we get. I'm going to just do a bunch of different colors. You know what we're going to do yet? Do you have any ideas? There's a hint right over my shoulder. I love this technique. So I thought about doing all one color, but that is boring. So I have a lot more blues than reds. And then I have some white too. So I've got a wicker white, which is more of a pure bright white. And then I have the vintage white, which is a little bit more yellowy. It's actually what I used in the sample for the upcoming workshop, is that vintagey white. So here's our little palette that we're going to be working off of tonight. So I'm going to set this maybe just a bit out of your view. There we go. And I have a few different paintbrushes. These are different thicknesses. They're the flat. I like the nice flat, kind of stiff brushes. I don't like them to be too stiff though, so I do kind of bend them to try to, you know, soften it up just a little bit. And then a tiny flat brush. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and give it a background color. So I'm going to do the red for the background color, just so that we're starting with something, a basis. But I'm going to put it on really light and thin so that we're not sitting around waiting forever for it to dry, because honestly, we're going to cover up a lot of it. I'm not going to worry too much about getting all the spots, covering up all the spots either, but just a little bit of a background. Roxy said that she has started out painting door hangers and has done one for each season. So that is fun. You just rotate them out all the time. Do you have a place to keep them? Because I think that's maybe the biggest issue for a lot of people is storage space. I have a few different wreaths that I have, you know, changed up. I've got like a Easter wreath and a 4th of July wreath and a fall wreath and a Christmas wreath. And I put them all in a closet, and it's always a little bit difficult to get them all in there. Okay. So do you see how it's just a little bit messy? I'm not covering it all completely because that would be kind of a waste of paint, but I'm going to use that as a basis for starting. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that in some water and clean it. I may want to use it again in just a bit. So I'm just going to leave it there for a moment. And then let's grab a blue. So when you're doing a technique like this, you want the colors to mix a little bit, like there to be a little bit of mingling. But if you really go at it hard and you keep mixing, then you're going to end up, like for this, we would end up with a lot of purple. So we do want our paint to kind of create like a nice melding of colors, but we don't want to end up with purple everywhere. So it's something that we'll keep in mind, and we might have to let some places dry a little bit in between, but we're just going to start popping on some different colors. So I've got the whitest brush that I brought up here, and I'm just going to do these little strokes. Now, I don't want there to be a lot of globbing of paint on the edges, so I am trying to go back and kind of smooth it out if it looks too thick on the edges, like where it's pushing out. That's just so that when we go to add the lettering, it's not super bumpy on our surface. So you're going to add a color till you kind of feel like, okay, that looks balanced and even. And then we will switch to a new color. So let me clean that. I filled up my water jar just a little bit too full, so I'm afraid of when I'm swishing it, I got to be careful to swish it so it doesn't overflow too bad. Hey, Teresa, good to have you. Oh, who's playing t-ball? Which you have a little granddaughter or grandson? I remember those days with my kiddos. I think the T-ball stage is the most fun to watch. I mean, it's fun as they get older too. And now we're like about to go into high school, watching high school ball, which I think will be fun. But those little ages are adorable. They're so fun. And still the parents kind of care too much. So you can go off the edge a little bit too. And you don't have to go all one way. You can go, multiple ways, left and right and up and down. I am trying to keep it off the sides because I want the sides to just be solid red. So, hey, Monique, no worries about being late. No worries at all. We're just getting started, honestly. So, I'm a little bit worried about overflowing my jar of water so that I can switch my colors. All right, so a lot of this is going to be blue. I want to make sure that we get the white in there too. But the lettering is going to be white, so I'm also thinking ahead about that. Okay, so if your lettering is white, then you don't want a lot of white concentrated in the middle. So if I'm thinking about that, then I'm going to make sure that I get some dark colors in the middle. And do you see how there's a little bit of mixing of the light blue and the dark blue there? So that's kind of nice. I like that. But my daughter, I remember, especially when she was younger, she doesn't do this as much now, but she would paint. And it's kind of hard for me to watch her paint because I'm like, oh, don't you want to do it like this? And so I would have to just like really concentrate to keep my mouth shut and just let her do her thing, and let her have the creative freedom. But she would take those colors and she would just like mix and mix and mix and mix. I'm like, babe, if you keep mixing, you're going to get brown. Everything's going to look brown. She didn't care. All right. Let's do some white in there. I have a few more blues that I can add to. It doesn't like that I moved my arm in front of the camera. It's all blurry. So I'm going to try to fix that in just a second. Okay. So let me do a little bit of this blue. It's a little bit lighter. It's not quite a royal blue. Trying to get the camera to refocus just a little bit there. Okay. So again, we're going to overlap a little bit. We still want our red to peek through. So I'm just looking at it to see, okay, is it kind of balanced out? All right, let me grab a different brush. I'll go with the next step down, the medium brush, and add some white in here. There we go. Hey, Linda. Oh yes, Eastern time. I know that always throws everybody off. I am Eastern time. So I'm glad you made it. We've just been talking a little bit about how hot it is because I can't help myself. It is a fact of life in Florida, but it's not enjoyable. All right, let's see. Let's do some of the wicker white too. And then I'm going to come back on top and add, I'm trying to figure out, I want the red to also be on top. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out how much of the red that's already there to cover up. So yeah, the overlapping has kind of a 3D look to it. That's a good way to describe it. It does. And I feel like with this look, you cannot mess up with it, truly. It's very forgiving and very easy to fix your mistakes. So, but I feel like that's getting to be a little bit too much white now. So I'm trying to stay out of the middle so that I don't have too much issue with the lettering, but now I feel like it's getting a little too much. So let's go back. Let's do some red. And I think I might dry a little bit of what's there too, so that it kind of sits on top of it. So let me dry that. All right. Just take a little bit of that wetness out. Hey, Jackie. I am in, Roxy asked what part of Florida I'm in. I am in north of Tampa. So I usually just say Tampa because people know where that is generally. But I'm north of there about 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So it's a little town called Brooksville. So, and that's where we moved. We moved out here a year ago, January. Hey, Heidi. It's good to see you. So 2 years ago, I found this farmhouse that was like my dream house. I loved it. It has about 10 acres, and I thought, I'm going to do all the things. I want a garden, I want chickens, and I'm going to be making sourdough bread. And I have done all those things, not gardening. Still haven't started gardening. But we moved out here just to give the kids some more space to run around and experience something different than a postage stamp yard, because I thought they would go outside and play more, and they don't. But we do have some cool, fun experiences outside that we did not have in a neighborhood. So we bought this fixer-upper, basically. The inspection came back not good. It is on a hill. And in Florida, you don't have many crawl spaces. You don't see that. Everything's on a cement slab. But this house was built with a crawl space. And there was some mold in the crawl space that we had to remediate. That was a big ordeal. And then once the remediation was done, we had some renos to do, because a lot of it got torn up during the remediation, and then some of it was just old and gross. So we've gotten a lot of the big things done. Like we redid the master bathroom and the kitchen, and the stairs, which I still haven't filmed a video of the stairs yet. Just, a lot of the things that just to make it look a little bit more updated and nice. The outside still needs a lot of work. So it's one of those things where we're like, we'll get to it when we get to it, because life happens, and we're running the kids around. We're so busy right now with their schedules and their lives, and trying to be involved at church. And, that means, a lot of you probably know, that means being there more than just on Sunday mornings. And so So we're on the slow track right now. We have not done a whole lot the last year with the outside. But I go outside and I sit by the pool and I think one day this will look pretty. Right now it's just all weeds and it needs a lot of work. But one day, anyway, you got to just enjoy it now, right? So that's what I tell my husband, like, don't worry about it not being exactly the way you want it yet. We'll get there one day. So, I mean, the kids may be married and gone, but we'll get there. All right. So, does that look cool to you, or does that look like a mess? I mean, it's kind of both. It looks cool, but it's kind of a mess. I almost feel like I could maybe just stop there and, you know, leave it, call it a day, just make it a piece of art. And I might actually like that a little bit. But we're going to add the lettering. We are going to add the lettering because just letter on everything. My dad is a t-shirt. He's a screen printer for t-shirts. And he was so funny growing up. Any t-shirt that I came home wearing, like a plain like t-shirt from, I don't know, whatever was popular, not American Idol, American Eagle or whatever. It's a plain t-shirt. He's like, let me print on that. What can we put on that? And I'm like, Dad, I don't want anything on this, you know? And so it's kind of funny now I think about like, what can we letter on that? Oh, my kids are going to be like, Mom, you don't have to letter on everything. But it's fun, isn't it? It's fun. Do you go through stores now kind of looking at what you could letter? Like, what could I do with that? Okay. Let me get this dried and then we will start tracing. So tell me something that you're looking forward to this summer. Do you have any summer plans or something that you've set aside for that you want to do this summer or that you know that you're going to be doing? That little spot right there in the middle is real thick. The paint's real thick. So it's going to take another little minute to dry. Monique says, I want to letter on everything now. Yes, you have caught the sickness. Hey, Alicia. It's okay to be late. Glad that you could make it. We have just been painting this wooden sign. It is a stand-up sign, so you can see that it's about 2 inches thick. And it's got a little hanger on the back, but I plan on just sitting it up somewhere. So I painted the sides red. I had a little bit of bleed over on the side there, just a little bit, which I can fix later. And then this is it. So actually the hanger is here. I had it turned to the side that whole time. So instead of being up and down, our little brush strokes are going to go left to right. So I think that's about dry enough because, you know, the next step is I'm going to put the template down on there and trace, and I don't want it to like do anything weird with some of these places that got a little bit cakey. So the wooden block was from Hobby Lobby. In the wood section, it says the tag says $7, and I can't remember if I got it on sale or not, but I picked up a couple different things that I thought would be fun. Some different looking things that I have planned for later on. So here is our graphite paper. I used this for a different project. You can kind of see it says America the Beautiful on it. I'm going to reuse it tonight. And then here is our template. And I'm actually going to cut it down. So I said this earlier, if you missed it, I printed it at 85% instead of 100%, just to get it a little bit smaller. It fit on this, but it didn't fit well. There wasn't like a nice border on the top and bottom. It kind of went right to the edge. So I did 85% instead, and that seemed to be perfect. So, because I didn't want the lettering to get too small, and then it's hard to color in, you know. All right. This just makes it a little bit easier to deal with instead of having all that paper. So I'm just looking for my top and bottom. So I'm looking like, okay, this much on the top, this much on the bottom. Okay, I'll move it up just a little bit. This is how we eyeball it. And then does it look straight? And then too, you know, the spacing left to right. This is the hardest part. I don't like this part because I'm thinking, oh, if we mess it up, we just gotta live with it. All right, and then I have a little bit of painter's tape here so I can tape that down. Okay. All right, this is the fun part. I mean, it's all been fun. I had fun with the painting too. This is the relaxing part. So, Karen said, thrift stores are my greatest temptation for finding things to letter on. I bet. I need to take some time to go to a thrift store. That sounds delightful. I love old vintagey looking things. My house is kind of a mix of vintage and modern, and I can never decide what style I want to land on. So then I sort of end up with a hodgepodge. But when we go to farmers markets and things, if there's a booth that has something that's, you know, antique-y looking, man, I'm like, what can I do with that? What can I do with that? All right. So we are just tracing on our template, and I'm going to go all the way around and outline it as best as I can. Pressing in, and it is going to grab your paint just a little bit because, you know, the paint feels dry to the touch, but whenever you really press on it, you can tell that it's not completely dry. It would need a little bit more time to completely dry. So I'm pressing, but I'm trying not to overdo it. I tend to be a little bit heavy-handed anyway, though. So I already see something I'm going to have to fix. I'll show it to you in just a minute. Just hang tight. I will show you what I'm going to have to fix. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I finished my story about the house. I think I did. it was a long, stressful process. And I've always wanted to build a house. It's always been kind of a dream of mine as a creative. Like, oh, if you can build a house, then you get to, pick everything you want and totally design it. And so the designer in me was like, that seems awesome. And then after the renovation, I was like, oh man, maybe it's best that we never built, because I'm not sure that we were both cut out for that. My husband, I think, would have struggled with it, and then we would have both struggled with it. And it was tough. And if you've gone through anything like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's just very stressful. I'm back. That scared me. My internet blipped. Did y'all see that? Let me add my other camera back in. Okay. Let's see what's going on. There we go. Okay, y'all see me? I saw my lights blink, and it was just a quick off and on, but I lost internet. So I had to connect my computer to the hotspot. And I was like, I don't even sure what's gonna happen, if this is gonna come back up or not. So let me know if you're still there. Yes, here I am. That was crazy. That's never happened before. I don't know if that means it's raining outside or what, but hopefully it won't do it again. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But the signal may be a little bit shaky still, because powering off my phone hotspot, I don't know how great that's going to be, but we're going to keep going, and I'm going to try to hurry. I mean, not hurry, but I'm going to keep going and try not to pause a whole lot, so that we can finish in case it's getting stormy. I don't know if there was rain in the forecast or what. It's kind of amazing that the streaming software that I use held on. I mean, it kept the stream live, which is crazy. I don't know how it could do that when you lose internet. So I guess that's why we like to watch live, right? You just never know what might happen. I was looking at comments, though, when I was waiting for it to come back on. Hey, Candy. It's good to see you. Candy, my friend with Frames That Change. I showed y'all her frame a few weeks ago when we did a printable together to go into one of her frames. That was a fun live. I enjoyed that project. Okay, but I was looking at, okay, Kathy said she's lettering on a little library for her neighborhood. What a great idea. Those little neighborhood libraries are so cool. I bet it's kind of fun to just come by and see what people put in there. Because isn't that like you're allowed to borrow, but then you can also put stuff in there, right? Isn't that kind of what you do? So I think I would always be like, is there anything new in here? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Did y'all go to the library a lot growing up? That was always one of my favorite things. My mom would take us every couple of weeks, me and my brother. I think this was before my sister was born, maybe. And my sister is 10 years younger than me. We're very close, but we weren't when we were little, because I was, 16 and she was 6, and I was doing all my running around with my friends. But anyway, so my mom would take us to the library and we would pick out a stack of books. I mean, like a big stack of books. And she'd get her books and I'd get my books. And I don't remember what my brother got, but I just remember, I'd get 10, 12 books at the library and read them. And I had so much fun wandering through the aisles trying to pick out books. And she'd go to her section and I'd go to the, kids section or the young adult section. And we'd read our books and then we'd go back after a couple of weeks. And sadly, my kids did not seem to enjoy that same experience when I would take them to the library. It just was not, they did not love it like I did. Although I partly feel like maybe I'm an old soul, just a little bit, like in the old things and wanting to do the old ways, like sourdough and chickens. So anyway, I tried to instill in them a love for reading. So far, they haven't bit, much to my sadness. All right. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm just going along and I'm not even paying attention to see if you can see me. So, got the last few letters here. I'm just outlining all of them. I also saw of my fellow lefty, Linda. I love your comment because you're not alone. A lot of left-handed people feel like they can't letter. So I created a hand lettering course a couple years ago. I still sell it. It's doing well. I've not really marketed it as a left-handed course because it's not. I can teach right-handed people to letter too, but I do have a special module bonus video just for left-handed letters to tell you, listen, I've got some tips for you. Here's how you can make this work for you. You don't have to be, you don't have to miss out on lettering just because you're left-handed. So, all right. You see my mistake that I said I would show you when I got done? Look at the top of the L. So I got the white right there, right here. And I feel like I need to cover that up because I don't think I don't think it will show at all if we don't cover it up. So I'm gonna do a little bit of red. Grab a little bit of the red, and I'm just gonna do this part right here. Just cover that up. And this. So do you remember earlier when I said that this project is incredibly forgivable? If you make a mistake, it is pretty simple to fix. Now, the main problem that you may run into would be not being able to see your guidelines to trace. But what I'm seeing that you may not be able to see in the camera is that the white lines of the lettering are still shining through. So that gives me hope that it'll be pretty easy to fix this, because it's hard to go back, and once you've lifted off the thing, and if I had been thinking, I would have not taken it off. I would have just showed you and then put it back. But it's hard to get the tracing right in the exact same spots. So we'll do our best tracing that. So make sure we get all the spots though. Okay. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit right down here. That's that off-white, and so I think the white paint pen would show up, but I would rather play it safe and go ahead and put some red on it. Even if it's just a light coating, you can still kind of see the white coming through. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and use my dryer. Try to get that to dry quickly. And then we will finish with the coloring it all in. Alicia, thank you for saying that. She said, as a fellow lefty, you motivated me. So thank you. That makes me feel good. And I know Glenda's lefty too. So there's several of y'all in here. Listen. And Patty's, you're right. She says, you're in the South, it thunderstorms daily. It does. That is summer in Florida. It will thunderstorm usually every afternoon. So it's a little bit late in the day. Normally on any given day, you can expect to have a thunderstorm like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it lasts for about 15 minutes. It might be stormy and lightning and lots of rain, and then it goes away and it's beautiful for the rest of the day, but you feel like you've been steamed in a bag in the microwave because it is so steamy hot. So, all right, so I've got a couple different thicknesses for my paint pens. I've got the 5M, which is like the medium, and then I have a 3M, which they call fine, and then I have the extra fine, which is the 1M. So these are new, so I'm gonna get them going here. But I thought, ooh, that's drippy. I don't want that to happen. Don't want you dripping on my drawing. I'm probably gonna stick with this one, the fine one, the middle one, for most of this, because it's a smaller, we're not dealing with a real big sign. If it was a lot bigger, we would go with the bigger marker. Okay. I should have grabbed, actually, I'm not sure if I have another one like this. It's, I don't know if it's dried up or it's just taken a while to come out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Wake up. And then this one I think has already been started. Yes. Okay. So we've got our 3 different thicknesses of markers there, just in case, you know. I always like to have a contingency plan just in case things aren't going smoothly and I need to change it up, you know. But I think we're going to be really good. Can y'all see? Let me see if I can zoom in. See if we're already zoomed in. So I don't know if you can see the lines that I'm going to be working with. Very good. Here, I'll bring my camera down just a bit. Give me just a second. Just maybe a little bit lower there. Okay. So that's a little bit closer. And it's at an angle, so my hand won't be covering it up so bad. But I'm going to just come in here and follow those lines. I can see them probably better with my naked eye than you can with the camera. So we're going to pay attention to our thick and our thin lines. Whoops. Don't laugh, but I have this camera up here, like hanging onto this with a rubber band. And so the rubber band just shifted a little bit. So there we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to pay attention to our thick and our thin lines. And one thing that you're kind of in danger of doing with a tracer is bringing the thick lines down too far so that they're real bottom heavy. It's kind of did it right here just a little bit because I wasn't paying attention. So you really want your thick line to kind of just come into the bottom before your pen goes back up in the up direction. So when I outlined that, I gave it a little bit too much thickness in the upward motion. And what that does is it just makes it look bottom heavy. And you'll notice that is kind of something that is I don't want to say a rookie mistake, but it's something that you do a lot when you're first learning hand lettering. And then you have to learn like the thickness kind of stops and then it gets thin as your arm starts going back up. I'm going to switch to this medium because I'm having a hard time with the paint here. I'm having to go over it several times. So I think this medium is going to be a little bit better. So come straight down and then stop. Don't continue the upward motion, making that more thick. And that takes some practice to get used to. But be kind to yourself too. Don't get, Don't get negative and be like, oh, I can't do this. It just takes practice. When I started lettering, I took in everybody who was lettering. I followed them. I worked to learn from them. And so the nice thing about that is you're exposed to a lot of different styles and ways of doing things. And then the more that I did it, the more I kind of came up with my own way and kind of fell into a natural pattern. And you will too. So even if it's just 15 minutes a day, that's all you can do. Or even if it's just on the weekend or whatever. And the truth is, you will be more critical than anybody else who sees it. Now I got off my lines here just a little bit with this fat marker. Ugh. So I'm going to grab the real thin one because this has got to be a little bit closer together. And the fatter marker is just, for me, it's harder to wield. I like more of a fine, like the finer details. But so even though I tried, I still have some lumps in here with the paint in the background. I'm going to turn it all the way around so that I don't drag my arm through the wet part. But I don't feel like this marker has enough ink flowing. It feels very dry. And remember, this was the one that was hard to get started too. So I wonder if it's old or something. I mean, I opened the package right before I came on here live, but I wonder if it was just old, if maybe it had been at Amazon for too long and sitting on the shelf and started to dry up or something. It's weird. I love a good flourish. This one's a fun one. So I will go back over this and do another coat in case you're wondering. White can be a little finicky. It kind of streaks. You have to really let it fully dry. And even then, sometimes when it's fully dry, it still gets a little bit streaky. So I just kind of chalk that up to it's hand lettered, it's handmade. And, you know, we're going to say that makes it more charming and more natural looking. So it's all in the way that you frame it in your head, right? It's all in the way that you like tell yourself what it looks like. So, hey, Michelle, tell Sophia that I am using these Posca markers. I've got 3 of them. I've got a medium, a fine, and an extra fine. So you can find these, I think, mainly at like Hobby Lobby, Amazon, Michael's. I'm not sure about Walmart. So maybe somebody in the chat can tell you if you can find a Posca marker at Walmart or not. Is Sophia having fun at VBS this week? I think she and Haven are together, volunteering together. All right. I'm going to leave that. I want to keep messing with it, but I'm going to leave it. And I have to make myself stop, move on to the next place. This is a fun little ampersand. If that's like, if you ever want just something fun to do, challenge yourself and play around with creating different ampersands, because there's a lot of fun ways that you can make them. And it looks fancy. Now it's coming. You know what? Maybe the paint was thicker there up in here, and it was almost too soft, because now I feel like the board is a little bit firmer underneath my paint pen, and it's coming, like the paint is definitely flowing better. So I'm going to look at my template now, because I covered up my lines. So here's what the template looked like. So you can see the P, the details of it. It's got the little loop down there at the bottom and everything. So I'm going to just set that here so I can see it and look at it to try to figure out how far down I should bring that, because it comes down a little past the H. I'm getting hungry. It's almost 8 o'clock here. I haven't had dinner yet. My poor family. Well, the boys are at baseball, so they don't care. But Haven, I'm sure she's been snacking. Like I told her, I'll make something after I get off. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just let that loop go. Creative freedom. You don't have to follow the template exactly. So I'm going to let that little bottom loop go. I'm going to bring that around. It is getting kind of streaky on me though. Let's see. Oh, Dory says that Walmart has the Poscas in Georgia, so you could check there. Teresa says that too. So that's good. There's other paint markers too. You know, this is water-based, I believe. Some of them are oil-based, but Sharpie has one. So we're just looking for a paint pen, acrylic paint, typically. I'm so curious to go downstairs and see if all the clocks and everything reset with the power blip that we had. Still think that was so weird. Pursuit of Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to concentrate and I'm hungry. My stomach's rumbling. I would like to know y'all's, like, what y'all have for dinner? What are y'all making for dinner? Because I always need good suggestions, different suggestions. I've asked this before, but you just kind of stick to your same things that you're comfortable making. And I thought maybe tonight we would have tacos or taco bowls. All right, last word, happiness. See how far down it goes. See, I can't see it. I covered it up. Probably about to there. So if you joined us late and you're wondering what I'm tracing, this is a template from the Scripted Faith Collective, which is a monthly subscription group of hand-lettered designs. I give you 7 new designs every month to use for whatever creative purpose you want. So whether it's a printable or a hand-lettered sign like what we're making right now, or you have a vinyl cutting machine and you want to cut vinyl and make something, sublimation, wood engraving. I mean, there's just so much you could do with these, and they're very versatile. You can change them up. You can make them bigger, smaller, make it work for what you're using. So that is what this is. And if you want to try it out with me, you can join at my summer workshop, which is going to be the end of June, June 25th and 26th. We're going to make a hand-lettered sign together. We're going to do very similar to what we're doing tonight, step by step, but you'll be able to watch and interact with other people on the live, and we'll have some giveaways too. So it's going to be fun. It's 2 nights, Wednesday night and a Thursday night at the end of June. So you can comment in the comments 625 if you want to get the link to sign up. So once you sign up, you'll be sent the supply list, and then the day of the workshop, I will send you the link so that you can know where to find us. It's going to be on YouTube. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So it would give you an opportunity to do what I'm doing with a specific project. You get the template, and then you can see if it's something that you enjoy doing, and if becoming a Scripted Faith Collective subscriber is a fit for you. So we did one in March, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed everybody who came and was a part of that. And so I decided to have a summer one with a different project. So, all right. So I feel like we need a little bit more dimension going on for this. And I have a couple of thin black pens. So this is a grabby acrylic black marker. Let me hold it where you can see it. I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work. It likes to sputter a little bit. And I also have my Tombow, and there's no reason why you couldn't just use a black marker or a pen of some sort to do this. But you want it to be something thin so that you can get in and do the details. So I'm going to just do, I'm going to start on the side. Let me think. If I want to, is it dry enough? Yes, it's dry enough. So you're just going to come in and do a thin line. And it is sputtering just a little bit. It's just mainly when you hit a textured, something textured instead of smooth, it just does not like that. So I'm just going to lightly do these little drop lines. Very thin. Just try and give it a little bit more dimension. And I will go back once the white is good and dry, and I'll probably go over it and give it all another coat. I feel like if you rush that, it's usually pointless. So whoops, see that? It's better just a little bit. You see that? But it kind of gives it a little texture. Honestly, I don't hate it for this. But I'm just doing this to get the white to pop off a little bit more. Since our background is so busy. To add some texture and some dimension, you just go like every little stroke, you go underneath and to the right. So you don't go on the left and you don't go on the upper part of it. And if you're holding it sideways like I am, you have to concentrate just a little bit more to make sure you're hitting the right spot. I don't even know if you can tell a major difference. I feel like it helps it pop off just a little bit more. But then I want to add a little bit of glitter. Don't miss a spot. Okay, almost done. Almost there. So in the places where the background is a little bit lighter, the black pops off a little bit more, and in the spots that are darker, the white is popping off. So it just helps all around. That E looks too skinny. It doesn't match the other ones, so let me just thicken it up just a little bit. All right. So there it is. So let's do a little bit of glitter on the side. I thought about doing a pattern or something, but I think I want it just to be red. So there's just a couple spots where I hit the white. So I'm just gonna cover up some of that. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of glitter there. Okay, so that's some nice contrast between the sides and the top. So I've got the opal glitter. And I'm going to take a paintbrush. No, here it is, hiding. This is this chip brush, little 2-inch chip brush. And we're going to use that. So I'm going to get a good bit of glitter on here because I want it to be noticeable. This can sometimes be just more of like a hint of glitter. So I want it to be a little bit more distinctive. See that? See the glimmer? There we go. All right. So whether it's hanging on a wall or sitting on a shelf, when you walk by it, you'll see that little bit of shimmer. Kind of like a little surprise fun detail. All right. So there we go. Can y'all see that? See the glitter? And then there's the finished sign. So switch the camera. There we go. So there we go. And I like it. I know it's a busy background, but I think it's fun and it's different. So you could do stripes. You could do like a color fade, maybe like an ombre where you've got dark blue to light blue background. You could do so many different things. So you could add little stars to it. You know what? I didn't even trace the stars. Y'all. Oh my goodness. How did I not even notice? The template has stars on it. And I didn't trace them. I got too caught up in the fact that I needed to cover up some of that white in the background. So you could add in little stars. I actually have these little wooden stars that I thought that I could paint and put on the sides. So maybe we'll do that, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just leave it like that, because I do feel like there's enough going on in the background right now that stars just might be a little bit too much for it. So what do you think? Let's see. I'm going to answer some questions. Monique says, a waterproof black pen. I don't know if that was me, but my thought would be to use an oil-based paint pen, and do that first and make it sure it's real dry, and then use watercolor, unless you want it. Okay, are you wanting it to bleed because the Tombow dual tip brush pens are water-based, and some people use those as watercolors. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. And then you can add water and it can make it like look real pretty. So, but if you don't want, like if you're doing lettering and you don't want it to mix with the background, don't use those. But yeah, Tombow dual tip brush pens is what they're called. Alicia asked, how do you know where to put the black lines? So I do it, people do them differently. It's all about going back to grade school art class when you learn how to put a shadow on something and you have to picture the sun being on one side. And so if the sun is over here, then the shadow is going to go off to that side. So like lighting, you know. So with the drop line, I have just always chosen to do it on the right side and underneath, but I've seen other people do it on the left side. The thing is you want to make sure that you are consistent because you can't switch it up. It won't look right. So if you pick the left side and on the top, then you have to do it for the whole piece. Otherwise, it will just kind of look like a mess. So it's like one of those things where you may not even be able to say why it looks wrong, but you'll be able to tell that it looks wrong. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my feedback on that. And then let's see if there's any other questions. Okay. Pit pens are waterproof for the Faber-Castell ones. I'm not familiar with that kind. Did y'all have any other questions for me before I sign off today? So Monique says she finds it a little bit hard to get coverage with the white Poscas. Yes, you are not alone. It does. And look, if I hold this up really close without touching the glitter, you can see the streakiness. And so sometimes the streakiness, we are like, oh, I'm going to roll with that. I like it. Sometimes you want it to be more crisp and, you know, pop off. So just depending on what you want, you just need to wait and then go back and try. But you need the ink to really flow. You don't want it to be dry. And that, I think, is the key with those. But yeah, you're not alone for sure. Okay. I don't think I see any other questions. Thank you for being here. And then let me show you. This is the project we're doing for the workshop at the end of June. Be still and know that I'm God. It's a tan background with some white texturing, kind of looks almost like linen, and then the lettering. So obviously really different looks there, right? So you can see again just the versatility of a template. And so I hope that you'll come and join me for the workshop. See if you enjoy using a template and if it might be something that you would want to do. And just come for a good time. Come for a nice, creative, fun time. So, all right. Well, I'm going to sign off and go make something for dinner. But thank you for being here and hanging out with me tonight. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time.